Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
Movie. How'd you like that movie? This episode, we're going to be saying a name backwards and forwards because we're talking movies. We're talking No Time to Die, starring in his final performance as James Bond, Daniel Craig, Léa Seydoux, and Rami Malek. Screenplay by a whole bunch of fucking people, and their names are Neil Purvis, Robert Wade, Carrie Joy Fukunua, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and directed by Carrie Fukunua. We all have our secrets. We just haven't gotten to yours yet.
I'm going to tell you a story about a man. His name was Bond. James Bond. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? Tonight, we're going to be talking about the 25th or 27th Bond film, depending on whose numbers you're using. No Time to Die, or as I like to call it, No Time to Die, Lots of Time to Sleep. Anyway, Scott, take us away.
What the fuck? Okay, first, if I remember correctly, we had an episode, people can go back, and it was the movies we were looking forward to the most this year. And I'm pretty sure you're like rampant and screaming, saying like, this is one of the movies you're looking forward to the most, that you had to go watch it in the theater.
Have you ever looked forward to Christmas and then been sadly disappointed? That is my feeling around this James Bond film. Very, very excited, very, very disappointed. So
it's a shame that you haven't lost your touch.
I would say that No Time to Die is a specter of Craig's best film, Casino Royale. That's two fucking Chris Langford quotes, originals in one episode.
Like, we should just finish now, right? Because your brain's not gonna be able to comprehend
I'm done.
anything.
So shouldn't we just finish now? Because I'm done. Anyway, so Scott, we went to the movies. By the way, to our listeners, we actually have our producer on the show as well tonight, because all three of us went to an event together for the first time in a very long time, and it was a sad affair. Okay, Scott, now take us away.
Well, to give context as well, we were like 12 feet apart because somebody doesn't know how to judge movie ticket seats when he has to pick them online.
Repertory theaters are always so small. I'm used to a totally different size of theater. That's what she said.
But yeah. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Like, for going in, I didn't know it was all as long as it was going to be. It was like 2.5 hours, right?
It was 2 hours and 43 fucking minutes long, man. It was a long film. Multiple times I woke up and went, really? We're still here? And then went back to sleep.
Fuck you did. But anyways, I enjoyed it. I think, this would have been better if Quantum of Solace was never made. It would have been a nice Bond doing Bourne kind of trilogy. Okay. But yeah.
I mean, Bond bored me, so I think it worked.
Not like Bourne.
I know. I'm just making fun of you, and you're not even picking it up. So,
well, it's not funny, and I can't deal with you right now. Like, how did you go? Like, let me go back, because we never really talked about this. Like, are you a big James Bond fan?
I answer to the interest of my country, not you.
No, I've probably seen like a handful of them.
What to get ready for this film, like one of the ones you had to go see? If this wasn't something you're like 100% in, like huge fan,
Because I mean, Bond as a franchise usually has like some stuff behind it, right? You know, it's a big cinematic experience. There's lots of like cool shit, cool fight scenes, explosions, witty repartee. I mean, I love witty repartee. All of that stuff usually gets, you know, packaged. I mean, this has got a $300 million budget. Like, it's an event. A Bond film is often an event. Often, like so many events in our lives, it is also they've been a huge letdown. The problem for me is Casino Royale is such a fucking good movie that I just don't know if anything rises to the top. Are you a big Bond person? Like you can.
I enjoy Bond. I think I've seen each one of the films at least once or twice.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like one of those like, oh my God, I have to go watch them. Like, very rarely have I gone to a Bond in theater. And normally when I have gone, it's usually been when it's the debut of the new Bond. Like, I went for GoldenEye, I went for Casino Royale, because those are the ones that I was old enough to go watch. But yeah, like, I would say in terms of Casino Royale itself, yeah, it's probably one of the top.
Sorry, Bond, it's not the top?
It's not the top, no.
What in your humble opinion, what is the best Bond movie?
Ooh. I really like Dr. No. Like the first Connery.
Dr. No means no.
What? Like, are you okay? Like, the sexual innuendos ain't even like, it's a Bond movie. Like, no one says no. Unless you're Timothy Dalton. Unless you're Timothy Dalton during the height of the AIDS pandemic. So, you know, then all the women said no, and it was all about the safe sex. But I digress. But I would say, yeah, that one. I really do like License to Kill by Dalton. Even, I think the one that this movie itself, I don't know if you want to say it pays homage to, but it kind of could be considered kind of a reboot of Her Majesty's Secret Service. And even that movie is really good, right? If you rewatch it. And this movie had a lot of nods to that one.
I just found it fucking super boring. It was too long. The dialogue is garbage, like garbage. You know, Bond is usually known for like, again, like witty repartees and like real quick, interesting comebacks.
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
This felt like they were forced. Like, I even went and was watching Goldfinger with Sean Connery, and it's just like he just slides that stuff in there, you know what I mean? And it's good and it works. And in this one, it felt very contrived. Like, you know, every 15 minutes, we're going to stick one of these things in. Also, some of the stuff that they did was just fucking ridiculous, even for a Bond movie. Like, I don't know what, they do that big fight scene in Cuba, and then they stop and have a drink. I was like, what is going on right now? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? This is fucking silly.
Well, that was like that to me was like, that was something in one of the like Roger Moore James Bonds that he would do. He would fight Jaws or whatever, and then there would be a drink, he'd take a sip or something like that, right? There would always be some kind of event after the fight that to kind of make people laugh, and all those more like the goofy, like the campy more ones.
So, and I think this is one of the problems with this film is that there's kind of types of Bond, right? Like there's serious Bond or campy Bond or this Bond or that Bond. And this felt like it was trying to be all the Bonds, plus like they tried to pull in this huge emotional like gravitas and story arc of James Bond. And it just didn't work. And honestly, I think a lot of this has to do with there's too many fucking screenwriters on this thing. So you've got the director, Joy Fukugana on it. You've got the guys that have worked on 7 James Bond, Neil Purvis and Robert Wade. And then you also brought in like Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was actually brought in by Daniel Craig. And I just don't think those writing styles work together. So I went back and I'm like, okay, if we're going to say that if I'm going to say Casino Royale is like a gold standard, who worked on that? And it's like, well, you've got, you go back and you've got Neil Purvis and Robert Wade and one other person. That's it. Also, this director had no business, like the director, like the stuff that he's worked on, and then you got Foley Wallace-Bridge as well. Like those two writing styles don't go together. And then you've essentially got guys that work on James Bond films, like they've done 7 of them, as another version of the writing style.
Now, in terms of like, I think for Bridge, she was brought in kind of like as
Like
a
a
script doctor, just to help out on the dialogue, right?
Yeah, it didn't help. And I like her work. Like her work on Fleabag. Fleabag's fucking hilarious, breaking the fourth wall all the time. She's also a writer on a bunch of Killing Eve episodes. Like she's solid, and she's got a bunch of acting credits and stuff as well. I just didn't feel like it. Go.
Is the reason why you like Casino Royale better was for the Chris Heritage minute? Because the other person you didn't even name was Paul Higgis, who was born in London, Ontario, Canada.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Is that why you're like, they got rid of the Canadian?
And that was it. So you know what No Time to Die film I really want to see? Whatever the fuck Danny Boyle was doing before he quit. Because he's a fantastic, I mean, like 28 Days Later, Train Spotting, like super dark dude. I would have loved to see what Danny Boyle was going to do with this script, but he walked because the studio wasn't loving the direction. He works with the same writer all the time. Studio wasn't loving it. So he's like, fucking peace out. And it was a bit of a scramble. And this film feels like a bit of a scramble, like, throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and see if it fucking sticks. And it did not.
Now, did you have like out of it, did you have like a moment or sequence that you really did enjoy?
So, I mean,
because for 2 hours and 45 minutes, you'd figure there was something. There would have been something that you liked.
The stuff that it did well, it did really well. So, for example, that like fight driving scenes all of them in Italy, but the one with like the motorcycles and shit, I was like, yeah, here we go. Because I even found that the film took a bit of time to even get there. So you got from when Bond almost gets like blown up, then there's a crazy like, James Bond style car chase, which is awesome. Then it's like fucking slow. Then they do another one in Italy, which is also super awesome. The forest one was good as well. Like all the fucking trucks and shit jumping through the forest. That was great. But a lot of it, like, man, all that romantic, like those 2 shots and stuff like that, I was like, whoa, why is there so many of this in this fucking movie? And then I realized it's because the movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long. That's why.
Okay.
If they would have just cut all that shit out and just had like Bond say interesting shit, blow some stuff up, boom, that's a Bond movie. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'll say in terms of myself, I really enjoyed the Anna de Armas sequence that you're making fun of in terms of taking the shot. And like just her chemistry with Daniel Craig, like you saw it in Knives Out, right? And it just looks like it continued here. And it just seems like they were having so much fucking fun. And I would love to see like where her character of, the spy on the first mission goes, like what's her second mission kind of thing.
Yeah, that fight sequence was great. It's just that when it ended with the drink, I was like, oh, okay, we're doing that, are we? We're doing like Farsi fucking schlocky fucking Bond. I'm Schlock. John Schlock.
Yeah,
like,
but that, like to me that was more yeah, it was kind of like, a little nod to more, but also like, hey, they caught their guy. This was her first mission. She succeeded. Cheers. Maybe some other time kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it was silly. It was fucking silly. So what about the plot twist? There's 2 major ones. Or do you want to talk about the one that we're gonna actually talk about a bit? Do you want to talk about? So there's spoiler.
Go ahead.
Spoiler. In this film, there is a new 007. Do you think that worked out? Did it get utilized? I know our producer definitely has some comments on this. So,
All right. Well, do you want to start with our producer since he's been very quiet?
sure, go ahead.
Okay, lad. So my thing about this is that it was an incredible opportunity lost. You had this opportunity, you had the old Bond, and you had the new Bond, and you had all of the potential witty repartee around that, and they just completely blew it. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't recall the name of the actor that played the new Bond, but I mean, she was too subservient to the old Bond. She should have been grinding his gears from second number one, and she really didn't. You, I am the new Bond. You're just an old man who happened to show up. So I got to tell you, huge opportunity lost.
And speaking as an old man that just shows up, I tend to agree.
Okay. First, the actor's name is Lashana Lynch. Right. Just so we know. Yes, I think there could have been more interaction between the two, but I think, and it could be just because of the writing, it seemed like they were always off on the way they did it was like they would only really intersect in front of M, right? And then she would be off on her mission, he would be off on his mission, and then like it's a fucking movie, so they're gonna intersect again. They're both their missions.
Dude, they literally meet in Jamaica, not in front of M. Like, so
no, she was there for him though.
I understand that, but the idea that like in this
That was
fictional
her mission.
world with these fictional characters that they can't have this like dialogue back and forth, that can't happen because what, they're too professional? Like I don't know where you're going with this line of thought.
No, what I'm saying is
HR is going to get involved. Like,
oh my god, could you imagine like the next Bond film is 100% like just him and Moneypenny like dealing with the HR complaints.
That's right.
Drinking on the job. They're like, we found this, and the back pay of alimony and child.
As well as this penis enlarger pump from Sweden.
That's not mine.
Austin Powers, nice.
That's right.
Nice.
Michael Myers, baby.
But you just got to get the Heritage Minute in here, eh?
That's right.
For everything.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Quickly, come on now, let's go.
Like in terms of the realization that she's the new 07 was like after the third meeting, correct? I'm trying to remember the film.
I don't know.
I watched it once at theaters.
I might have been sleeping at that time. So,
am I right, Rod, or am I wrong?
I mean, does it really matter?
I think that's what I'm saying is like in terms of her being the 07, like the new 07, it feels like it was just kind of written in after that, right? And then just like, here you go.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like they just were like, oh, you know what'd be really cool is if you were now the new 007.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
the whole fucking film felt like that's how it was put together. So
yeah, and that's the thing. Like going in, everybody knew this was Craig's last movie, right?
Yes.
Because was this the one that he was like, I'd rather like put my arm through glass or whatever, or was that the other one?
I think it's this one, or I kill that whole line of dialogue. It's been hard for me to tease out if this was the last film that he didn't want to do and he got convinced, or if this was his last film and they were trying, because they offered him 150 million for 2 more films, or I don't know if 2 more included this one or whatever. Anyway, that's a lot of fucking money, but he was just getting the shit kicked out of him doing these films, right? So
yeah, which makes sense, but and there was always the hoopla of like who's going to play after him, and I'm pretty sure during that time there was a lot like, what if it was a woman, right? I know Idris Elba was one of the ones people kept on saying like should take over, and then it was the whole, well, what if they went the Doctor Who route as well, and 007's a woman.
And they said Doctor No to that.
No, technically they didn't, because they made it in this film. 007 was a woman in this film.
Yeah, but James Bond isn't a woman. So I don't know. Do you change your name? Like, how does that work? Even the idea that, again, Bond aficionados will debate this, that James Bond may not even be him, like that James Bond is like the role that you slide into, and that 007, well, and that's what they say in this film, that 007 is just a number.
He's been reinstated as a double O.
Double O what?
Which made me think R. Kelly.
Oh my god.
007 is just a number.
Is this what James Bond gets you into? Like, just put your mind into, like, this whole episode has just been sex aficionados and now fucking R. Kelly.
It's James Bond. That's like literally everything about James Bond is a sexual innuendo, right? So
Not the first thing I thought you'd take off, but
Back then, not now.
oh, not now. Now, yes, now James
now
Bond is progressive.
He is, right? So all in all, you did not like this film at all.
I did not like this film.
So there's no redeeming quality, nothing that you're
No.
like, you know what.
There's also like Jeffrey Wright and a bunch of other fantastic actors in here that are totally wasted. I mean, because they're reprising their roles. There's a massive list of them. It was a waste. It was a waste of my time. I would have preferred to just watch it at home. At least then I could pause it and go eat snacks or something.
Were you upset that the next day, that after we went to the theater, it was available to rent?
No, because I didn't know. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. I wanted to see it in the theater because it is supposed to be a cinematic experience. After watching it, I'd rather have watched it on my phone. You know what I mean? Like,
but I was laughing like, because we went the Monday,
Yeah.
turning on my Prime, and all of a sudden it was like early access. You can now rent it. I'm like, motherfucker, that would have saved me $40.
So yeah, let's talk about that for a bit. Like, so you took your son. Does your son like
Yes.
James Bond? Like, is he already got a
He's
Bond
watched
Bond?
2 or 3. Yeah, he's watched 2 or 3.
And he was like, this is
Um,
the worst Austin Powers movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I haven't shown him Austin Powers yet, but I will say, like, watching it with him was an experience, and it was fun. And he was just cutting up one-liners the whole time that kind of made me laugh, and it made me. That's the thing, and I think that's why I enjoyed it more, because he was entertaining
Because
me.
you were like entertained by someone else. That the film was so bad that your son entertaining you brought up the overall quality of the film. I mean, he should get like a credit or something for that.
Like, some of his one-liners he was saying was during your big scene that you liked a lot in Italy, when they're chasing him and shooting him down, he would just be like, Dad, like, these bad guys really need to go to a driving range. They're kind of worse than stormtroopers. He's like, they're not very good at shooting. And they're just, the shit he would say would just kind of make me laugh. So it made me enjoy the film more. But I think all in all, like going in, coming out, this was a James Bond film to me, right? Like, there's not ones that I'm like, oh my God, like they're all my most watched, like, best films ever. It's just, I was entertained for a lot longer than I thought I was going to be entertained for. So knowing you probably already have a list and the little Bob Ross pen being like, this is what I'm going to cut out. This is what I'm going to cut out.
I think I already told you, I would have not gone down the road of trying to give Bond this like emotional center. You know what I mean? But so yeah, we were going to talk briefly about some of the plot twists. There's the number one plot twist. That's what we're referring to. We're not actually going to disclose it on the show because it is a kind of a key point. Do you think that worked out well? Did you like that direction? Do you remember what plot twist number 1 is?
Yeah. No, it worked out. It worked out fine, right? But it, like, to me, it wasn't really a twist, because it was literally, you knew they were coming to that right from the opening sequence, right?
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll say my reason why? Like a pause so people can fast forward.
Or we can just talk about that offline, because that should be interesting, because I don't think that I didn't see it coming, but when it did come, I was like also not impressed. I was like, oh, okay, well, that seems like something you would just throw in as like, hey, and guess what?
And
James
guess what?
Bond isn't actually
right.
even British. He's Venezuelan or something like that. You know what I mean? So
He's Scottish. But
Scotty is Scottish.
there you go. Right?
What about the other twist? Twist number 2.
Well, that's the one that we
Debate on
differ,
whether it's even. Yeah.
Well, you saw it one way, I saw it another way. Even my son saw it the same way I did.
Okay.
So that's what makes it. I think we'll obviously know ahead of time, like once. But I'm gonna rephrase that. I can see it going your way, right? Because technically there is no oh my god, I can't
Chronological
order of any of these actual films, right?
Yeah, you could a James Bond film it has different people, different time periods. It can be think how old fucking James Bond really is if we were to put him into like canon order, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I can see it your way, but like, okay, this is, with this is, this is the mission, right? And this is how that mission is going to end. But I can also see it the same way me and my son go, because, he's James fucking Bond.
Of course.
So,
and I mean, there is part of me that thinks that like they're trying to purposely allude to a bunch of different stuff. So you can be like, tune in next 2 years when we will reveal who the masked caper is.
Same Bond channel.
Same Bond channel. Would you recommend this film, and to who? Whom?
I would recommend this film, because in terms of just body of work as a Bond, I would say probably Daniel Craig is my second. And
who's your first?
And it's Connery.
Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe you're gonna say some crazy shit.
It's George Lansbury. he was good enough that he did one. He was like, fuck it.
One and done.
He's like, mic drop. No one's gonna top that shit. But I think in terms of watching it as a body of work, his set of films is the only one that technically you could really, because it's all about each one always has that same backstory that always goes back to Casino Royale, right? So I think watching it as a whole would be entertaining, and you can't really watch it as a whole unless you're going to watch his last one, right?
This is true. I'm sure Bond people should watch this. If you want to watch this film, it's out on video on demand, or wait for it comes out on DVD. I don't even know if people have Blu-ray or DVD players anymore. But you don't need to watch it in the theater. Like, bring a pillow, bring a My Pillow. We can stump for that guy for a sec. Bring a My Pillow and go to sleep, and wake up when it's done. Like I said, no time to die, but lots of time to sleep.
We don't need to go faster. We have all the time in the world.
And that is our rant for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. If you're looking to get a hold of us, please go to our website at howdyoulikethatmovie.com. All our social media links are there, and you can email us as well.
I think I might watch Casino Royale tonight, though, because that fucking movie is dope. And I'm gonna finish.
It does have one of the best scenes when he's like fucking just naked on that chair, and then he's like, yeah, a little bit more to the left, yeah, come on. And he's like, what? And he's like, I can't wait to tell all my friends that I got you to massage my butt.
Yeah. That you've gone and scratched my nuts. I was talking about also, I like when he, after he fucking defibrillates himself, and he comes in, he's like, oh, that last hand almost killed me. Like, that's the kind of fucking Bond I'm like, yeah! Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.